Hello, my name is Rachel, and I'm here with another book haul. So, yeah, I bought some more books. So first of all, I have some review books that I got. The first one is Rock Me Two Times by Dawn Ryder. This is one of those, romantic books with the hunky guy on the cover, so I don't know. It's based with with a rock star, and I just thought this would be kind of a cute, fun read. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Next is one that came out in early August, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is basically my favorite trope ever, like very Pride and Prejudice-y, where the two meet and they don't like each other, and then they're forced to be, in contact with each other, and they slowly grow to love each other. I love those, so I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm pretty much never disappointed by the Pride and Prejudice trope. Next up is a book called The Eagle Tree, The Remarkable Story of a Boy and a Tree. And I believe this deals with the boy with autism and his love for the forest. And this is by Ned Hayes. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great book, and the cover is just gorgeous, so I'm excited for this one. Next up is Graveyard by Robert David Chase. This is inspired by Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were the basis of the movie The Conjuring, I guess. But yeah, this is one of those spooky stories. I think my mom and I are going to read this book as our October read-along together. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. The next up is two books that I have as ARCs, but I decided I wanted the finished original full-on copy, and the first one is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I have a copy I think before they came up with any of the logo. I think it's just white. So I decided I wanted this kind of copy, and I think we are going to be reading this fall in my school book club, so I thought it couldn't hurt to have an extra copy on hand to make sure everybody gets to read one. And then next up is one you've heard a bunch of times on my channel, I'm sure. It's Before We Go Extinct by Karen Rivers. I read this as an e-arc, and I loved it. Had to have it as a hardback. Next up is kind of a fun one I picked up, and that is Romeo and Juliet, A Choosable Path Adventure by Ryan North. Now first, they told me that they could not use the Choose Your Own Adventure because it's copyrighted, so they changed it to A Choosable Path Adventure, which, that's funny. And secondly, I'm sure you're thinking, what? Well, let me explain. It says, what if Romeo never met Juliet? What if Juliet got really buff instead of moping around all day? What if they teamed up to take over Verona with robot suits? This choose-your-own-path version of Romeo and Juliet, packed with fun puzzles, secrets, and a quadrillions of possible storylines, lets you decide where the plot goes every time you read. You might play Romeo, or as Juliet, or both of them at the same time. You might even unlock additional playable characters. This just seems like such a fun way to kind of get at the traditional Romeo and Juliet story. I cannot believe I haven't even tried any of the paths yet, but I plan to. This is going to be fun. I think this will be a great book, kind of like as a palate cleanser. Like between books, you can pick this up and just do one of the adventures and then put it down, come back to it later. So it's not a book that you necessarily have to read, front to back. And it just seems so fun. I'm so excited, and it's really pretty anyway. Next up, I met two authors recently. One was a couple of months ago, I think, and that is David Bell. I picked up Since She Went Away, and I got this one signed. I think this is going to be a really good thriller, so I might pick this up for the thriller month that I'm doing. And he has several other titles that seemed really fascinating, so I might be reading more of David Bell, so stay tuned for that. And just recently, I went to the Colleen Hoover event at my bookstore and picked up It Ends With Us. Now, I did get this one signed. I'm thinking about doing a possible giveaway with this in the future, so definitely stay tuned for that. Next up, I bought a lot of books during Booktubeathon. I did an Amazon purchase, and I did a book depository purchase, so this is kind of collective. I picked up Anna and the French Kiss and Isla and the Happily Ever After in the adorable, colorful editions. The only problem I have, though, is that these are the European editions, and I have the Lola and the Boy Next Door copy in the same colorful edition, but it's the US edition, and it's taller. So it's like this. And I know that's really dumb, but it's gonna bother me. So now I'm probably gonna have to either trade somebody or sell mine to get a European edition so that they all match. But I'm excited for these. I think this is gonna be so much fun to read them all in a row, and I just absolutely love these covers. They're so pretty. They're gonna look great on my shelf. Next up, I picked up The Vegetarian. Ooh, I have a bookmark in there that just fell out at me. The Vegetarian by Han Kang, maybe. And I know this was the Man Booker International Prize winner, and I know this was just a huge, oh, there's a whole nother thing in here. This was just a huge book last year and even into this year that I'm excited to read it. And I absolutely love this like European cover that I got. It's gorgeous. So I'm pumped. I'm thinking I'm going to read this as one of my books that's 200 pages or less later on in the year, and I'm excited to have this on my shelf. Next, I also got The Attachments by Rachael, and I am excited for this one because I've heard good things. I think I'll like this more than the other ones. I'm not a huge fan of hers. I really I DNF'd Eleanor and Park, so I'm not sure. But this one sounds interesting, so I'm excited. We'll see. Next up, I was excited to pick up some fairy tale originals. Someone is doing a kind of retelling theme this month. I think it was Elena. I will link it down below when I find it to make sure, but they're basically doing they're reading the original of a fairy tale, and then they're going to read some retellings and watch some movies, and I don't know if I'm really going to participate, but it sounded like such a great idea that I might try some on my own later, so I decided to pick up Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales and Grimm's fairy tales. So I'm excited to jump into these. They're the ones that you hear about all the time, but you don't really ever read. So I'm excited to actually read them. And another one that I picked up recently is Soppy by Philippa Rice. I heard about this on YouTube. Somebody was reading it for a readathon. I borrowed it from my library and read it on my e-reader and just fell in love. I had to have it, so now I do. Next up, I went to a book sale. I was so excited because everything was pretty cheap, and I'm pretty excited. So first up, I got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is another one that I'm thinking about using for the under 200 pages challenge, and I don't have this over in my classic section in my own little library here, so I'm pumped to own it. Next, I have a problem. Like, I have a few books that I collect, and it's getting kind of out of hand, and you'll see that with the next couple of books. So first of all, I have Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, and oh look, I have another Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. And I have like a whole stack of them over there. This is one of the ones that I collect, so I don't know. Every time I see a copy that's in decent shape, I buy it. I feel like one of these days I'm gonna have like all the copies in the world. So if you are looking for this book and you can't find it, I apologize. Next up, I picked up Rick Riordan's The Trials of Apollo. This was like $1 at the book sale, and it doesn't even look like it's ever been even open. So the only thing wrong with the cover is that it's got this big ugly sticker on it, and it was $1. So I'm pretty excited. And then probably the one I'm most excited about from the book sale is Reality is Broken by Jane McGonigal, and it's why games make us better and how they can change the world. I started out the school year last year teaching a gaming class, and I was recommended this book, and I wanted to get it from the library, but I just had no time starting a new curriculum, and it's been on my to-read list forever, and I just happened upon it for $1 at the sale. So I'm so excited to own it. I still plan on definitely giving it a read. Even though I'm no longer teaching that class, I'm excited. I think this is awesome. I'm so excited that I found it. What are the odds? Next up, I picked up a really good copy of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you know I have kind of a love-hate relationship with this book. It features one of my favorite quotes, and I really think that I would like it if I could ever finish it, but every time I pick it up, I get like halfway through, and it just stops for me. So the copy that I have is like the font is like so small, so I decided to try maybe a different copy and see if that was better. So the font in this one's a little bit bigger, and it looks like there's still plenty of room in between the lines and around it to make notes, which I'm hoping to annotate this one. So we're gonna give it another try here soon, and I have a nice beautiful new larger print copy. Now, remember how I said that I buy certain books that I collect? Well, I do. I collect copies of The Little Prince, Great Gatsby, Tale of Two Cities, Jane Eyre, and Pride and Prejudice. Now, my Pride and Prejudice is the biggest. I think I now, including the ones you're about to see, have 21. Yeah, so that's a lot. I probably have like 10 to 12 Tale of Two Cities, probably have like 6-ish Jane Eyres, probably like 6 or 7 Little Prince, and I think I only have like 5 Great Gatsbys, but it's a problem. I just can't help it. I love those books, so I just keep buying them. And they have so many fun covers, and I think that's just it. Like, they're so old that they have so many covers. Like, none of them, I think, have the same cover. I think every edition I have is a different cover. So, I don't know. But anyway, enough with the spiel. I picked up A Tale of Two Cities. I don't have this cover. I don't have this edition. It's a hardback, which is kind of rare to find for these, especially ones that are, like, not ridiculously expensive. So, I got another Tale of Two Cities. I got, in the same edition, which is the Lifetime Library edition, I got a Pride and Prejudice. I also found this awesome Pride and Prejudice edition. It's kind of hard to see, but this is like a glittery pink, and it's all like kind of gothic and like outlined in black. It's just so pretty. But yeah, another Pride and Prejudice. I think this is 21. Then oh no, I'm sorry. I think that one was 20. Then this one is 21. This is the new hardback editions that they just put out by Penguin Classics, and I'm in love with these. I bought some of these for our school library because they're really like sturdy books for the kids to take around and read. But I didn't have one for my very own, and now I have Pride and Prejudice. So I think this is number 21 for Pride and Prejudice. And I didn't count this one because I don't think it's really fully Pride and Prejudice. But I did pick up the complete Jane Austen because I'm hoping to join Zoe over at Read by Zoe's Austentatious book club and read one of the books each month until I think like January. So I decided it was so much cheaper just to pick up this one giant volume with all of them than to try to buy all of them individually in paperbacks. However, of course I have a copy of Pride and Prejudice, but now I have all of them together in one volume, which will be a nice little addition to my collection. So, oh my goodness, those are all the books that I bought. Now, there is a book sale coming up that I plan on attending, but after that, I am really going to scale back on buying books. I know I say that all the time, but Katrina over at Little Book Out is doing this 5-to-1 ratio where she has to read 5 of her books before she buys one new book, and I'm not sure if I have enough willpower to do 5-to-1, but I'm hoping at least to do like 3-to-1 or something, to where I'm reading them and hopefully trading them in and then getting a new one. And I've been trying really hard lately. If I read a book and I don't love it and don't think I'm going to reread it, then I get rid of it. Either I give it to someone else, or I donate it, or I sell it back to my bookstore, something. But I try not to hang on to books that I've read and not really enjoyed. But if I'm going to reread it, or if I really liked it, then I hang on to it. Or if it's, you know, a Pride and Prejudice, of course I'm going to keep it. But books that I don't necessarily enjoy, I'm trying to get rid of so that I have more room on my shelves for books that I do enjoy. So again, I think hopefully after this book sale tomorrow that I can go with like a 3-to-1 ratio, but you know, we'll see. I'll probably see you again next month with another huge haul. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to my channel to be notified of when I post new videos. And thank you for watching. I will see you again with another video soon. Bye for now.